afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is Miss Brianne, and welcome to our new and expanded Let's Get Ready series. Now, you may have heard this before with your younger siblings, or word gets around, but starting this month, the Let's Get Ready program is expanding. In the beginning, or previously, we only did this for our preschool students who are about to enter kindergarten. But starting in May, this month, we are expanding to include up to second grade students who are going into third grade. Now, you're probably aware of this already, but this session is for our second grade students going into third grade, as well as the third grade students who just want to review a little bit of the skills they learned previously. Now, we usually always start with a story, and then we have an activity. It could be handwriting, it could be phonics, it could be vocabulary. At this point, we can learn how to choose just right books. The list goes on and on. But usually with the second to third grade, I am going to read, well, in the beginning, I'm just going to read one story. And as it progresses, we may not even be able to finish a story. We may be able to only do half a story, or maybe even just a chapter. But in the beginning, we'll just read one story. Does that sound fun? So without further ado, I'm going to introduce our first book. Now, usually when with different grade levels, I usually start a couple of levels below the beginning level of the grade. Only so it gives your child a chance to re-enter into books if it's a brand new school year. Let them be more comfortable with what they're reading, read something they're familiar with. And when they're relaxed and comfortable with reading, then you could gradually move up. But I thought this was a fun little book because summer's coming soon and they're probably having summer camps again. So let's get started with a good summer camp book. Does that sound like fun? And this is called Danny and the Dinosaur Go to Camp. And who doesn't like dinosaurs, huh? Would you expect a dinosaur to camp, boys and girls? Why or why not? Well, let's see what happens with these adventures of Danny and his pet dinosaur. Okay, Danny and the Dinosaur Go to Camp. The author and illustrator is Syd Hoff. Now, the author is the person who writes the words to the story. And the illustrator is the person who draws the pictures in the story. Syd Hoff did both. And this is an I Can Read series. Now, we have a publisher for the series as well as the book itself. And the publisher is the company who puts the book into print and sends it to the bookstores to sell. And the publisher for this book, for the I Can Read series, and this book itself is HarperCollins Children's Books, which is a division of HarperCollins Publishers. So, we ready to begin? Alright, here we go. Now, in the beginning, I may use my finger to follow along. Eventually, I'm not going to be doing that. But are we ready? Here we go. Danny went to camp for the summer. He took along his friend, the dinosaur. Ooh, looks like they're getting ready for camp. Do they really need a car to get to camp? No, it looks like the dinosaur can walk, and Danny can ride on his dinosaur friend's back the whole way. Cool, huh? Camp is fun. You will enjoy it, said Danny. Thanks. I needed a vacation, said the dinosaur. Now, Here's a clue, boys and girls. If you come across a word that you don't really understand, what you could do is maybe write it down on a piece of paper, and then maybe you can ask your mom or your dad or a friend for help, or take out a children's dictionary and see if you can look up the word on your own. Do you think the dinosaur will have a fun time at camp? Well, let's see. Welcome, said the camp owner. You're the first dinosaur we ever had here. There were no other dinosaurs before him. What do you think, boys and girls? Are you surprised? Well, let's see what else happens. Lana, the leader, said, let's start with a race. On your mark, get set, go! The dinosaur took a step. You win, shouted Danny. All it took the dinosaur was one step because he's so... Why do you think, boys and girls? Why did it only take one step? Maybe because he's so big. Well, let's see what else happens. What do you think, boys and girls? Do you think the dinosaur is going to win everything? Take a minute to think about that. And why or why not? Well, let's see what happens next. The children played football. The dinosaur ran with the ball. And nobody could stop him. Touchdown! Shouted Danny. Look, he's running with the football. Looks like all the children are trying to grab the football and can't. Let's see what else happens at camp. Lana took everybody to the lake. Here is where we row our boats, she said. The children rowed little boats. Danny rowed the dinosaur. Think the dinosaur's as big as a boat? Oh yeah, and he probably can swim, right? Now a suggestion, if you have trouble figuring out a word, what you can do is look at the pictures to help you. Sometimes they give clues to figure out some of the words. It may not work all the time, but it's a good hint sometimes. It was time for lunch. Please pass the ketchup, said Danny. Of course, just as soon as I finish this bottle, said the dinosaur. Ooh, he's using the whole bottle of ketchup. That's not good, right? Well, it looks like they're having fun so far. So do you want to see what happens after lunch? Well, let's find out. After lunch, everybody wrote letters home. Please send me my own ketchup, Danny wrote. Please send me a pizza, wrote the dinosaur. Yeah, first day of camp and they're already writing letters? I don't know. Who do you think the dinosaur is writing to? Do you think he's writing to his parents? Do you think Danny's writing to his parents? Well, let's see what they do after writing letters. Now, let's go on a hike, said Lana. And everybody followed her. Oh, so it looks like they're hiking. Take a look at the picture. Where do you think they're hiking? Probably up the mountain, right? Let's see what they find. Then Danny got tired and climbed on the dinosaur. Danny gets tired and now he has his friend to help him. What do you think, boys and girls? Is that fair? That Danny can take a ride on his dinosaur when he gets tired, but the rest of the children probably can't? Well, let's see what happens. Wait for us! We're tired too! Shouted the children. What do you think is going to happen, boys and girls? Do you think they're going to stop hiking up the mountain? Do you think the dinosaur will offer the other children a ride as well? Well, let's see. Hold tight, said the dinosaur. The dinosaur even carried Lana. So it looks like they all are taking a ride on the dinosaur. There's room enough for everybody. Sometimes it's good to have a dinosaur on handy, right, boys and girls? Well, let's find out what happens when they make the top of the mountain. It got dark. Everybody sat around the campfire. Lana gave out toasted marshmallows. Here, have all you want, she said. Have you boys and girls ever had toasted marshmallows before? What do you think of them? I've had toasted marshmallows. They're pretty good. Especially just hot from the campfire. And sometimes I use toasted marshmallows to make a treat called a s'more, which is a sweet sandwich made of chocolate, toasted marshmallows, and it's in between 2 graham crackers. Delicious, huh? Let's see what else happens. Thanks, but I don't have room for more, said Danny. Yeah, there is such thing as too many marshmallows, boys and girls. I have room, said the dinosaur. Yeah, the dinosaur is probably still hungry. It was time for bed. I can't wait to get under the covers, said Danny. Me too, said the dinosaur. Bedtime. But the dinosaur's bunk was too small for him. Yeah, look at the size of the bed and look at the size of the dinosaur. What do you think, boys and girls? Do you think the camp should have had a bigger bed for the dinosaur? What do you think? And it all depends. Do you think the camp knew that a dinosaur was coming? Maybe, maybe not. So So if they didn't know the dinosaur was coming, how could they possibly find a bed for him, right? Well, it looks like the dinosaur has a solution. He took a pillow and went outside. "Wake me up for breakfast," said the dinosaur, and he fell asleep on the ground. "Good night," Danny said. So that ends their first day and first night at camp. And they'll probably have many other great adventures for the rest of their time at camp. But wasn't that an interesting story? How many of you enjoyed the story? How many of you thought the story was maybe a bit silly? Well, probably, because who hears of a dinosaur going to camp, huh? And doesn't camp sound like fun? Who's been to camp before? Have you done rowing boats or playing football? Maybe even hiked on a mountain? Are there any other activities that you've done at camp if you've gone to camp? Think about it. But there's many great activities at camp, especially summer camp. Not sure if they're going to open up yet, but if they do, it's lots of fun. And this was a great book to begin. Even though it's not quite summer just yet, it's a great book to read during the summer. But I hope you enjoyed that story, boys and girls. I certainly enjoyed reading it to you. But now we are going to do some fun activities. So, but before I do that, I am going to tell you a story. And who's heard of the letter? Now you've heard your letters, right? A, B, C, D, E, so forth. And you know what sound each letter makes, right? Well, have you ever heard of sounds putting together a certain letter with the letter H? For example, like CH, ch, or TH, or even SH, sh. Well, you'll learn a little more about them today, and you'll have some fun. You'll have a fun way to practice them. And I'm going to tell you a story about the H brothers. And the H brothers will help you learn the two letters put together called a diagraph. So we're going to learn about the H diagraphs today. And that's what it's called when you put a letter together with the H. So, we ready? Let's introduce ourselves to the H brothers. Before I do that, I just want to let you know the H brothers story, as well as the activities I'm going to show you today, are not mine. The activities in the story were created by Grismar at the website The WiseNet. So if you're interested in this activity as well as other activities, go to http://thewisenet.com and then click on English Language Arts, and you'll see this activity as well as a bunch of others, similar ones. You can also click on the link in the video description. So, we ready to get started? Alright, here we go. There once were... Oh, before I begin, you're going to get a copy. You have a copy of the story as well as the activities in the craft kit that you got when you registered for the program. So parents, you can practice this story with your child, and while you're retelling the story, you can have your child make the digraph sound. Once he or she is comfortable with that digraph, you can move on to the next one. So, we ready? Alright, here we go. The H brothers. There once were 5 brothers. They were called the H brothers because they all had a letter H in their name. Each brother liked to make a particular sound. Here's Crazy Charlie. Crazy Charlie went around making silly, crazy faces and made the sound ch, ch, ch over and over again. Now this is where you stop and boys and say, repeat with me, ch, 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 and have your child repeat and do it again, ch, ch, ch. And you can ask, what sound does CH make? Ch. Or what sound do you think of when you think of Crazy Charlie? Ch. And so forth. So here's Crazy Charlie. Here's Impolite Theo. Impolite Theo was not very nice. He liked to go around sticking his tongue out to anybody that came close to him. He made the sound as his tongue came out. Now this is an interesting one, very easy to remember. You make the sound as you stick out your tongue. So, boys and girls, repeat after me. Again. And you can ask parents, when you stick out your tongue like this, what sound do you make? And you just keep going. So one more time. And once more. Impolite Theo. All right. Here is Musical Wit. Musical Wit was the 3rd brother. He loved to whistle and make music with his mouth. He liked to make the sound wah, 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 as he practiced blowing air out of his mouth. So repeat after me. Wah, wah, wah. And you're going to shape your mouth as you're about to whistle. So what sound does WH make? Wah, wah, wah. Good job. So one more time. Wah, wah, wah. All right. Musical Wit, boys and girls. Quiet Sean liked silence. And here's Quiet Sean. He went around saying, shh, 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 to remind everybody to keep quiet. And dear boys and girls, do your parents always do shh when they're trying to get you to quiet down, or maybe your teachers? So when you look at the SH, think of that. So repeat after me. Shh. Again, shh, shh, shh. All right, one more time. Shh, shh, shh. All right, and this is Quiet Sean. And finally, here is Talkative Phil. Talkative Phil liked to talk. He always got on the phone and talked for a long time. When he was looking for his phone, he would go around making the and ask, "Where is my phone?" So when you think of or PH, think of phone. So, or phone. And one more time, phone. Now, when you repeat this story, parents, usually the best way to do it is to introduce just one brother at a time. Don't read the whole story, but just read about one brother. And then practice the digraph and the sound that it makes. And you can also mix later on when your child knows the digraphs, you can mix them up, point to the digraph, and have your child make the sound related to the digraph. So, well, the thing is, sometimes it's hard to do if you don't have the puppets of the H brothers. So that's going to be our next activity. We are going to make these puppets. So give me 2 seconds while I set everything up. Sorry about that, boys and girls. I just had to grab some supplies. So I'm just going to zoom into our activity part. All right. So, oops, hold on. Sorry about that. First thing I'm going to do is show you how to make the puppets. And you saw the examples of the puppets. So, in your kits which you received when you registered, and before I begin, I just want to let you know that these activities that I'm going to show you are also from Grismar at the Wise Nest. So like I said, click on the link in the video description or go to the website that I mentioned earlier in the video if you want to see this activity as well as other similar activities. But you should have gotten papers of Crazy, in addition to the story, you should have gotten papers of Crazy Charlie, Impolite Theo, Musical Wit, Quiet Sean, and Talkative Phil. In addition to that, you should have also received 5 popsicle sticks, 1 for each of the H brothers. And I'm only going to show 1 today to save on time. But you should have 5 of those. But you should also have for the puppets, scissors and glue. Alright, So you ready to see how to make the puppets? Okay, here we go. So we're gonna follow along with musical wit. So the first thing you're going to do, before I begin, I just want to let you know, if you need time to do this, you can always pause the video in between steps so you can have some extra time to work on it. But are we ready? Here we go. So the first thing you're going to do is take your scissors and cut around the words musical wit. And you'll just keep cutting like so. There we go. So here is musical wit. So we're going to put that to the side. Now I'll just give you a minute or two to catch up. Alright, so here's the next step. The next step is you're going to take your scissors and cut around musical wit, like this. And you just keep cutting until you finish. There we go. So we'll put that to the side. Just wait a minute for the rest of my friends to catch up. Then you're going to take your scissors and cut around the WH circle right at like so. There we go. I'll give you a minute while I get rid of the strap. Alright, so we ready for the next step, boys and girls? So what you're going to do is you're going to take your popsicle stick and put some glue on the top. Like this. Then you're going to take Musical Wit's face and place it on the popsicle stick. Here we go. Give you a minute. Next step, we're going to take a little bit of glue, put it on the underneath the face. Then we're going to grab the words Musical Wit and we're going to place it where the glue is. Keep that as centered and straight as possible. There we go. Then the last thing we're going to do is take the glue, put a little bit of glue on the top of the face. Then take our WH digraph circle and place it on where the glue is. And that's how you make your digraph puppet of musical wit. And you just repeat those steps that I showed you for each of the H brothers until all 5 are complete. And then you'll have your own H brother puppets to refer to in the story. So once you practice those and you put the puppets together, I got another fun little review activity. It's going to be a simple little review chart of the H brothers. And I'll explain step by step on how to put it together. And when we're done, and again, this is also by Grismar the Wise Nests, it'll look a little something like this. Neat, huh? So do you want to see how this is done? So in addition to the H brother puppets, what you should have gotten was a piece of construction paper and a worksheet with the diagraphs. What you should have in handy, you should have your scissors and glue handy, but you also should have some like drawing instruments such as color pencils, markers, or crayons on hand as well. So with that being said, are we ready to begin the review? And as I mentioned before, you can always pause this in between steps if you need more time. So are we ready to begin? So, what you're going to do is you're going to take your drawing instrument and you can use any colors you want. I'm probably going to use tan and black because that's how the signs were. But I'm going to take my crayons and I'm going to color in the brothers. I'm just going to color in musical wit right now. And I did 4 of these already to save time. So I'm just coloring in musical wit. We'll color in the hair. Oops, forgot to color in the other ear. Alright, so that's one. And I'll give you a minute to finish up. And when you're done coloring in, you're going to take your pencil, crayon, or marker, and you are going to trace the dotted lines of the digraph. For musical wit, it's going to be W, H. And there you go. And you repeat for each of the H brothers. Now, to save time, I already did 4 of them, which you'll see in a minute. So I'll give you a second to finish that real quick. Okay, so when you're done with that, what you do is you're going to take your scissors and cut out the pictures of the H brothers as well as the sign that says the H brothers. So I'm just going to cut out musical wit, the picture of musical wit, because we need that. There we go. So that's done. And like I said, to save time, I cut out the other sections as well. So I'll give you a minute to finish that, boys and girls. Alright, so the next step is to take your piece of construction paper and you can arrange the squares however you like. Usually I like to put my H Brothers sign in the middle and then arrange the others as I see fit. So I'll probably put 2 on the side of the sign and then the other 3 at the bottom. And once you've arranged those to your liking, then we are going to glue them on. Like so. And then when you're done, you can take your drawing instruments and if you like, you can decorate your review sheet like so. Like as you saw in my other example. So, and you can do this if you want, you don't have to, and you can just design it however you like. Like so. And you can just decorate until you're satisfied. There we go. And now you have a nice little review sheet of the H Brothers as a little travel guide to take with you in case you can't do the story right away. But anyway, I hope you had fun with this. And just so you know, in your review packets, you'll also have worksheets based on the diagraphs that you can complete at your own time and leisure. And if you want to show us, you can send it to us through our Idea Place email. But in any event, I hope you enjoyed today. I certainly enjoyed doing this activity with you. And next month we're going to have something completely different. So until then, take good care of yourselves. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon.